right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow pandemic travelers, this is Seattle Pandemic Shutdown Day 81, I think, by my count. It's Monday. It's raining. What's gonna happen this week? I don't know. Something I've seen reported by, I think it was like the New York Times, was the potential for more aggressive rats in New York City, at least. But I've said that about the rats here in Seattle. Like, there are the rats have gotten real brave. They just kind of like run around and run up to you. They don't skitter and hide like they used to. They just run around touching everything and checking everything because, well, they're hungry, right? And I've said that, I think, on one of these videos. Like, we're gonna see, seagulls and robins and everything else. We're gonna see them fighting over less food because there's less people walking around, so therefore there's like less human food around in the garbages for them to eat, and so then they will fight each other for it. Alright, that's a maneuver. How are we looking? I don't know. I mean, traffic is a little heavier than it has been, but I think that the traffic is thicker on, Fridays. Like Friday, maybe people are just leaving the city, maybe people are just heading out, and at that point that's fine. Like, everyone sort of feels okay about doing that. But yeah, the bridge is a little light. You can see it. Traffic's a little light, but again, that's Monday, and so we head into the week maybe a little sparser than a Friday, where again people, and last week was or today is Memorial Day, so last Friday was a lot busier, a lot of people heading out of town, I assume. Now today is Memorial Day, so it's probably going to be a little bit sparser as usual, but sparser during a pandemic versus sparser during a national holiday. It's it's gonna be different, I guess. So what happened? I don't know. Over the weekend, maybe I wasn't really paying attention. Watching Chernobyl with the girl, though. I had to kind of force her into starting to watch it, but now that we're into it, she's into it, which is good. It's one of those things where you're like, no, like, this is a thing. Like, people enjoyed watching this, and it's a whole story. There's some problems with their narrative, but for the most part, it's really great, and it's all about accountability. It's about how the Soviets were just the worst at accountability and responsibility for things when things go wrong. And the story is pretty close, and based on Chernobyl being kind of my beat for many years, because it happened, like, the disaster happened the month I was born, 3 years after I was born, but in my birth month. So I've always been fascinated by it, because it's like, while I was a little squirmy baby, completely unaware of anything, this reactor on the other side of the planet was exploding and melting down and would kill everyone on Earth if various people hadn't done exactly the right thing in the exact right order in order to prevent that catastrophe from continuing to unfold, which it still is. it is still continuing to unfold. Like, they put a new containment structure over it and all that. That's the BMW driver. At least they put their blinker on. But yeah, watching Chernobyl, digging the vibes of the story, and then kind of comparing it to now. Like, I've brought up the liquidators. Like, everyone walking around spraying things with alcohol and wiping things down with, you know, bleach wipes and stuff. That's the same kind of vibe as the liquidators in Chernobyl, you know? After we have that under control, which is what we've done now, we've locked everything down, and now the virus has basically burned itself out. Now we need to actively go about our business of sanitizing. You know, it's a hygiene thing, right? So Chernobyl's relevant because we now we go about cleaning up the disaster. The cleanup afterward, and you know, they went up to the top of the reactor, you know, and they ran that flag up, the red flag of the Soviet Union. They went up on top and they ran that flag up, and it's kind of a moment. I remember a documentary I watched where they interviewed some of the liquidators, and it was a moment where they are having their moment as, I think it was, they were literally Red Army, I think, you know, cleaning up this thing. They have their moment of, like, running the flag up on top of the Reichstag in Berlin at the end of World War II, right? Like, this is our moment where we claimed victory over this disaster, right? And I think, I've said it before, we need to have kind of a cultural moment about this to help the reboot. Is we need to, like, have a spring cleaning of all of our cities. Like, we need to people need to, like, go out and maybe have, like, a uniform or a oh, come on. So you can see what I'm seeing. I'm waiting for this person to this old to hobble across the street. Okay. You know, uniforms or something, you know, like a moment where we all turn out and we all engage in, like, a cleaning, you know, a cleansing, and then we then go back to normal. Like, we need a big moment, like the running the flag up on top of the reactor in Chernobyl, right? Like, we're sort of declaring the disaster over by, like, running the American flag up on top of, you know, the Space Needle, on top of the Empire State Building kind of thing, you know, like the Golden Gate Bridge, maybe. I don't know if there's a flagpole up there, but something like to symbolize, like, that we, you know, that we're past the disaster, you know, and it will help make people feel like they are part of that moment, right? That the moment is here, we all kind of engage in it, and now it's behind us, and we reboot, we go back to quote-unquote normal as safely as we can. I think that we need to do something like that, but, you know, someone else knows what I'm talking about, like, in terms of media and everything, like how to make narratives and everything, and they probably have thought this, but they don't know how to do it, and it's harder to do in the modern era, but yeah. So it's Monday. Remember, that's enough from me from Monday. Remember, I go out so you don't have to. Bye.